Oh, help us, Father. The sun rises slowly over the hills. Everywhere is cold and sunlight, but still, most lights its hotels are crowded. Their days in dark clouds are shrouded. They don't smile and they never will. Only volunteers get their fill. Empty promises is what they hear. No running water from year to year. Hearts that no one desire. That if there is a Messiah, someday he'll hear their whispered prayer. Covered always bare and scanty. 10 people in a one-bedroom shanty. Forced to sell on the pavement. No vacancy, no employment. Cattle fire cracker from gunshots. Blood that snow when things get hot. Afraid to look out my window to hear voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 crying. Voices from the ghetto. Crying, crying, crying. Hey, Lord, Lord. Crying, crying. Voices from the ghetto. Hey, hey. Oh, help us, Father. Oh, Lord. Mothers just hold their head on, boy. And them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher eyeing she daughter. Son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for he and them bad boys. No bail, that's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty is hell. She little girl child belly start to swell. Some say life is a cycle, but the church in no circle. Where will it all end? Only time could tell. Outside the siren keep howling. Inside your belly will growling. Police raid very often. The undertaker measuring a coffin. One night in bed you're sleeping. Next night is a wake that you're keeping. So you're praying to win the lotto, not to hear voices from them. What they doing? Crying. Tell me what they're doing. Crying. Oh, Lord, Lord. Crying, 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 crying. Voices from the ghetto. Help us, Father. We are not a forgotten people, Lord. Stretch forth a hand to us, we pray. Come, God. Hey, come, God. Come, God. With dented pride, they sold their honor. Revolutions bait politicians porn. And often their tragic story brings a journalist glory. No wonder they view the world with scorn. From since the day they born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust laws, but yet we christen we heroes, renegades, desperados, forever knocking on heaven's doors. Hear me! Steel band music shatters the silence, harmony to conquer the violence. Big men run when cops approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. Young Turks yet protecting, almost every young girl expecting. So tomorrow, Peck still a borrow. There'll be another voice from the ghetto, trust me. Crying, 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 yes, crying, 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 crying. Voices from the ghetto, crying, crying, crying. Oh, pity call, mama. Crying. Hear them pleading, Lord. Voices from the ghetto. Oh, yeah, help us, Father. Mm-hmm. Oh, social amenities, Lord, heaven knows. Opportunities, well, them always close. Can't get work once in white collar. So if you can't stretch your dollar, it's later for you crap or smoke your pipe. You're short or dead from gripe. Life does rape dignity and pride. Children's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle till you're 6 feet deep by 3 feet wide. Children through life keep on drifting. It's something they're smoking or sniffing. Or maybe they're trying to forget this life of mystery and regret. No one to come to the rescue except Capleton and Boujou. So their boom boxes they let go to drum out voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 voices from the ghetto. Crying, crying, yeah, crying, 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 voices from the ghetto. Hey, hey, oh Lord, help us, Father. Oh, hey, hey. As parents struggle to survive, children are neglected and deprived. Illiteracy on the rampage. Some parents never reach college, so it is homework the child must strive if he wants to stay alive. The dropout rate does come out trumps. As their big trucks skid and hit life bombs, them can't relate education to their daily life of starvation, so they take their chances in the dumps. Every day garbage truck they hopping is all junk and metal they scrapping to get a jump start on them Kobo. Some does get squashed like mosquito. So next time we pass in the beatum in we fancy car air condition, just above the Hummer we motor, we might hear a voice from the ghetto. Crying, 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 hey, crying, 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 voices from the ghetto. Hey, hey, oh Lord, hey. day. As parents struggle to survive, children are neglected and deprived. Illiteracy on the rampage. Some parents never reach college, so it is homework the child must strive if he wants to stay alive. The dropout rate does come out trumps as their big trucks skid and hit life bombs. Them can't relate education to the daily life of starvation, so they take their chances in the dumps. Every day garbage truck they hopping is all junk and metal they scrapping to get a jump start on them Kobo. Some does get squashed like mosquito. So next time we pass in the beatum in we fancy car air condition, just above the Hummer we motor, we might hear a voice from the ghetto crying, 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 hey, crying, 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 voices from the ghetto crying. I was born and bred in the ghetto. Crying. I know what I'm talking about, you know. Ask me, Father. I'm from the ghetto and proud of it. Crying, crying, yeah, crying, 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 crying. Voices from the ghetto.
Oh, the indomitable. Singing Sandra Devines, the late Sandra Devines, singing Sandra, one of the greats of the art form. Voices from the ghetto. Voices from the ghetto. Tonight we remember those people in the ghetto. Please share the link. Please share the link. Those of us who have beat down the walls of the ghetto, escaped the ghetto. You see, the ghetto comes from the ghettoization of people. That's where the term comes from, eh? The marginalization of people in particular spaces, the ghettoizing of people in spaces, the poor, whether we call it the inner cities. Nowadays, there are even ghettos in villages, the back of the villages, as opposed to the front of the villages. So the term ghetto comes from that isolation of people in spaces where they socialize there among themselves in those spaces. And if you socialize among yourself in those spaces, what you do is that you regenerate the very society, the very community, And so those people are left there on their own. You see, in the old days, when the society was segregated, the doctor, the lawyer, the mechanic, the garbage collector, the seamstress, the vendor, everybody went back to the same place. That is what made a village so unique, in that you went into a village and from the schoolmaster to the doctor to the seamstress, the civil servant, everybody went back into that space. And so there was a way in which the society was diverse. And, you know, if the society is refreshing itself, it refreshes the diversity. But if people are ghettoized, there's no diversity. All you have there is the poor people. When we are reproducing that community, we're reproducing the poverty. So the concept of the ghetto. And in those days, in the old days, the ghettos used to be in the towns, the urban areas. As I said, now it is spread into the rural areas because our villages, which used to be so diverse. I go down to the back of my village and it's almost a different world. So we are now ghettoizing people in our villages. That is why poverty has to be the number one objective of an oil-rich Guyana. There's where we have to part company with the PPP, because they do not feel that poverty, getting rid of poverty, must be the primary objective. They believe in building roads and all those things. It's not that those things are wrong. But you see, when you are building all these big buildings and so on, somebody got to build them. And it's the big contractors who are benefiting from that line of march, that kind of model. And we are saying there must be another model. And that is the model of investing in people, breaking down the walls of the ghetto. That's where the proposal from the Working People's Alliance of not handouts, cash transfer in a structured way to every household, which means including the household of the ghettos. If you go down to the back of Victoria or Golden Grove or Buxton or Pleasance, where the poorer classes and each household is able to get some money from the oil and gas wealth. Then we have to have confidence in those people that the first thing they will want to do is to transform the ghetto into a place of opportunity. The government will never know where the back step. You go into our communities, a lot of the houses don't get back step. Some just get front step. Some get no front step, they only have back step. And you got big people, you got children living in those homes. That's what the ghetto looks like. The government will not know where get a back, which house then get a back step, the people who live there. And so if you give them some of the funds, one of the first things they're going to do is fix the back step. You know, I've begun to do what I used to do when I was growing up in my village, walk the village. WP had a paper called Day Clean. And Guyana and myself, my brother George, and other double P activists, we would go around the village and share their clean to every household. So we got a sense of what was going on in our village. To this day, my friends ask me, why, oh, you know boxing so good? And I tell them it's back in those days. And what I try to do now is to try to get to the corners of the villages and to see how people are living. And the ghetto is real. It starts with the physical ghetto, and then it becomes the ghetto of the mind, where these young people in those spaces are beginning to think that the world, that's what Singing Sandra is saying in that song, Voices from the Ghetto. They feel that the world has turned its back on them, and their boombox become their only outlet. Somebody smoking something, will your belly start to swell? Today you're talking and tomorrow is a wake you keep in. Painting the picture of the ghetto. And when we talk about high politics, often we forget the ghetto. Please share this link tonight. Please share this link tonight. And I'm going to open the phones. The number is there on the screen. I'm going to open the phones tonight because I want to hear from you all. I want to hear from you all tonight because we're going to talk about poverty. Wealth is coming to Guyana. Guyana is being transformed as we speak. Is poverty going away? Singing Santa says, voices from the ghetto. Voices from the ghetto. Voices from the ghetto.
And them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher iron she daughter. Son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for he and them bad boys. No bail. That's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty is hell. She little girl child belly start to swell. Some say life is a cycle, but the church in no circle. Where will it all end? Only time could tell. Outside the siren keep howling, inside your belly we're crawling. Police raid very often, the undertaker measuring a coffin. One night in bed you're sleeping, next night is a wake that you're keeping. So you're praying to win the lotto, not to hear voices from the... What they doing? Tell me what they're doing. Oh.
I want us to think about that picture that Singing Sandra is painting there. Some of us know it well. Some of us have moved away from the ghetto. We pass through the ghetto to go home, but we tint we windows these days. One night in bed you sleep in. Tomorrow night is a wake you keep in. The pusher iron she daughter. She son in jail for manslaughter. No bail for he. Think about what people are going through on a daily basis. And the objective of politics has to be ending that misery, answering those voices from the ghetto. Some politicians feel that the objective of politics is to win an election. I'm saying no, winning an election is a means to an end. The objective is how you get people out of suffering. Don't tell me about house lots. If when you give poor people a house lot, they got to find $2 million to put on, where are they getting it from? Where are they getting it from? So don't come and tell me I share out so many house lots. For every 100 outlets, I don't have the data. But I'm sure for every 100 outlets, those at the very bottom of the ladder, you're not going to find more than 10, 15% of those at the very bottom of the ladder getting the outlet. I walked through a housing scheme next to Buxton, which I know well. And I see some empty spaces. I ask, well, yes, somebody had gotten that lot, but they can't afford to build a house. Voices from the ghetto. We got to listen to those voices. We got to listen to those voices from the ghetto.
Oh, Lord, Lord, crying, 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 crying. Voices from the ghetto. Help us, Father. We are not a forgotten people, Lord. Stretch forth a hand to us, we pray. Come, God. Hey, come, God. Come, God. Mm-hmm. With dented pride, they sold their honor. Revolutions bait politicians pawn. And often their tragic story brings a journalist glory. No wonder they view the world with scorn. Since the day they're born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust laws, but yet we christen we heroes, renegades, desperados, forever knocking on heaven's doors. Hear me! Steel band music shatters the silence, harmony to conquer the violence. Big men run when cops approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. Young Turks, yet tough protecting, almost every young girl expecting. So tomorrow, back still a borrow, there'll be another voice from the ghetto, trust me. Crying, crying, crying.
Another voice from the ghetto. We've got a call on the line. Caller, you're on to Politics 101. Talk to me.
Yes, thank you very much. This is Flat Garden. I'm well pleased with the subject tonight about poverty. You touch my heart with that word because we black people are still in poverty. But what I want to say tonight, because I could remember you said to Flat Garden, if you have to stand alone to fight for your black brothers and sisters, you will do it. Also, you said, WPA will not sacrifice our black brothers and sisters for no cause or vote. But if them come across, we thank God, and we will receive them with our own hand. To you, Mr. David, me like Mr. David, if WPA have to do this, do it. Because it's not when you coalition go back in power, CARICOM going to say that we don't know nothing, nobody reach out to us. I'm asking you tonight, loud and clear. WPA must invite back the 5 team of CARICOM that came to Guyana when Jack Diosu reached out to them and said there was a problem. There was not no problem. But anyway, they came and then tell David, Mr. Granger, what he must do. Now you guys have a chance to invite CARICOM to come back. I know Mr. Amsterdam good for line of talks. CARICOM still have the ability for them to come there, just other coming all in the morning and less in the afternoon. You got to invite CARICOM and show them all the problem, because our Chief Justice said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We have to be stand strong. And it's our time now to invite CARICOM. Let CARICOM come and see the problem in Guyana. And the most problem, we need a new voter list. And the word has bothered me some type of pronounce. What? Parliametric or something. That pronounce it for me.
Biometrics.
Right, yes. Let CARICOM come back. WPA, stand strong. Invite CARICOM to come back. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Tonight we are talking about poverty and the ghetto. Because it's real. And I don't want us to get us twisted, because we are acknowledging that Guyana is changing. We are acknowledging that. A country don't move from the second poorest country in the hemisphere to the fastest growing economy in the world, and nothing is happening. A lot is happening in Guyana. It's whether what is happening is impacting the lives of the majority. Poverty. All of us. I don't care whether you're a lawyer today or you're a doctor or what. All of us came from the ghetto. All of us come from there. And those who pretend that that's not where they come from, they're lying. It's just that some of them come out earlier than the rest of us, all the middle class and so on that we are talking about. They came from the ghetto. Hold the line, caller. Hold the line. All of them come from the ghetto. It's not just some of them come out earlier than some. And the question is, what are our politics? Are our politics about unghettoizing Guyana? I can tell you for me, I can tell you for the party that I come from. Our primary objective is getting rid of poverty. I think once we beat poverty, a lot else can happen for us in Guyana. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good night, Mr. David.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. David. Congratulations. The ghetto youth, the ghetto children, the ghetto family, people who going through it. You know, I want to know how the government feeling. When you can give people a house, like 1.something million, $700,000, and then you gotta get money for even build and construct your house. It's not a dark pen or a dark cook up these people want to construct. It's a home, not just a house, but a home to be live comfortable with their children and with family and this thing. And the ghetto people struggling so much to even get little work, to put little food on the table, to, you know, to get your children them to school and all this. So when you put this bill for a piece of land, and how on earth can you get the money to buy the material? By the time you don't gather this money and borrow a little money and ask this body outside for a little remittance and that body, and you give them, you know, you pay for the piece of land or try to pay for it. Where you get the money from to buy this material, to buy this steel? I know the government say you can help you with so much steel and so much cement, but they ain't gonna complete your house. They can't complete your house unless a little dark cover, a little dark pen or something you build it. So how the ghetto, how the people in the ghetto, How we who less fortunate been able to survive with something like that. I mean, for the rich people, they can understand because they got billions and millions. But then we people who live in the ghetto and the down to all people, them, what the president talking about, or Vice President I'll talk about. The people, the president said they are the grassroots and the foundation. We are the people who do the most, the voting, look at the majority of people going out and vote. So when you give me something like that for house lot, imagine the pressure and the stress and the pressure you put upon the whole family. And so I'm saying, Mr. Hines, is a good topic. I want the leaders them in the PPP government is considering people self-fire. You know how much family that you want an house and there with granny and mommy and all this you want come out. But then when the price to the land so expensive, if you do lucky forget a piece. If you check and see enough of the wealthy people that got 5, 6, 7, 8 house lot and them they're getting this thing more than anybody else who need it, you know. Anyhow, it's a nice topic and I hope the government listen and they understand what really going on. People really, really and truly need help. Not only with school children going to school, but we need help with place to live, house rent so high, cost of living so high, you go up on the street, oh my God. And let somebody else continue this time, but this is the struggle of the Guyanese. Majority of people here talk about the ghetto youth them. This is what's going on. That's what they fast with, and they're running a party and smoking and drinking. And some of them might be stealing. Another day, want work, but you work can't pay the money, you're doing nothing for help, put you in no comfort zone, assist you in a way. So you're definitely a good topic. Continue with it, my brother. Continue with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just keep the calls coming through. Just keep them coming through. I think somebody else is coming through here. Good evening, caller. Talk to me. You're on to Politics 101. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you for a great talk so far.
Yes, go ahead.
What I would like to say, if you'll permit me, is that this government that we're dealing with is vindictive and a dictatorship government. Look at it. Let's go into the ghetto life. Most of our young people, the young nurses and doctors, like you rightfully say, come from the ghetto. They are poor people who elevate themselves up, try to be a nurse, to help people and all these things. Look at what the government are doing to these people. The nurses are getting next to nothing with the service. Now they're bringing in people from Cuba. They're paying them more money for what I understand is like $1,000 US a month. Plus they get the traveling allowance, you're picking up and take them to work and from work. And our nurses are working together for less than $110,000 a month. But you're bringing in these people from Cuba and elsewhere and paying them a large sums of money because majority of our nurses are black people. So you are suffering them in another way to bring in your people who you're going to get here for 18 months. In the next election, they are eligible to vote. You are playing politics with the guys, people. You're running away our people in order to bring who you want to come so you can dictate what goes on and what doesn't go on. In the electoral system, Jack Joyce playing politics up to this day. He's looking at 2025. And you guys need to put a stop into this nonsense. If you don't have biometrics in the next election, it's going to be a big, large, white scale of rigging. It's not different, but Venezuelans are pouring in. We have Brazilians are pouring in. Now you're bringing nurses from overseas that you prefer to be in our country to serve our people who can speak our languages. They're going to come there and be picking and messing up people's life because they don't know what you're saying. But you have your own barn and grow there to do the same job that these people coming to do. But you're fighting them down, running them away to go to England, go to different places of better life. Yes, at the same time just for power, to control the oil and the riches for your rich and elites. It is nonsense. American government to look into this mass in the Caribbean, the CARICOM, or whoever call it, to look into it. It is biased and highest. It is being dictated by the highest level. If I have you on the wrong say one thing, Jack, they were wrong say a different thing. But people who have eyes will see, thanks to you and Kadaki, on a daily basis, trying to open up the eyes of the local and the little poor people to see what's happening. I don't think you guys are reaching wide enough so people understand and open their eyes to see what is happening. It is nonsense to see one of the richest countries in the world presently right now suffering. People can't even afford basic stuff. Why is it to be about $2 million to a household or to somebody who's over 18 years so they could afford to actually start a little business or do something to elevate themselves out of poverty? But no, you want to spend $5 billion on a road the last 2 weeks. Does it make sense to the people up there? Then you're going to look at, oh, we black and we Indian and we get. At some point in time, we have to say enough is enough. It's not about black and Indian anymore. It's about humanity. That you does not care about humanity. You don't have a chick or a child. Why is he running no money? Why is he running no riches? When he's dead, he's going to go on and left all of it for somebody. You don't have nobody to say, okay, carry on his name. Come on, man, people in Guyana. Wake up and smell the bloody coffee for change. Dr. Hinds'Sight, thank you for your work, sir. With all respect, I salute you because you've been going the extra mile to let the black people know what's happening. You have a great night, sir, and continue the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. And we are talking tonight about the situation in Guyana. We are especially talking about poverty. We are especially talking about poverty. I don't know whether this call. Hello? Hello?
Hey, Doc.
Good night.
Good night. Just enjoying the beating and teaching. And everybody must be able to tune in to classes tonight because there's knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of eye-opener. Openers. Everybody should tune in, share this live because it's valid and credible information. And let me say this: all the trolls who love to come on this live to make mischief, I want to tell y'all, while y'all making mischief, open y'all ears and learn something because y'all would never ever hear the truth from Barajak Dio, the most wickedest and the most nastiest and cruelest politician that ever graced the shores of Guyana. There are no politician that could come close as Barajak Dio being the most wickedest and the most nasty-minded politician. But let me tell you, I'm sure that he will end up just like Raj Luncheon. Yeah, when the sick don't hide, nobody not going to know when the sick. There's the shame when they will try to cover. But let me tell you, them black ball going to drop and nobody not going to lift a gun at them or nothing else or nothing. And I know that enough of the trolls and them listening, and I want to tell you, y'all troll something. You understand? That I got no politician that ever graced the shores of Guyana that could ever be wicked and nasty like Barajak Dio. Nasty. And it's so shameful to know you got a man who claims that he's not from class in Ejel. Let me tell you, they got people real sheltering on the Christianity. And man, Ejel is one such force. The mountain nastiness in the party, and imagine they can't stand up for setting up a war, the most he could do on them and thing. But you know what? Let him come on that side. You got thank God for social media. Thank God. Thanks to the heavens for social media that people like Brother David Hines, Brother Kadaki Amsterdam, Brother Sherrod Duncan, and them could expose. Let it come. No matter we try to lock up the put shackle. You see the pattern and the nastiness in the here we go on when you will have Brother Ogunde, that when you do that, the rest of things, that's how wicked and nasty and stinky and imagine Dr. Hines. You got people who gravitating and running behind this evil man, this wicked man, this nasty man. I don't know how they got people could say what they want, not but shaking Barajag, especially black people. But this man orchestrated killing of so much, and this man, they just sucking up under. This man is all this man so nasty and wicked and stink. It is the stinkiest and the nastiest politician that could ever grace this board. And people should continue for calling out and telling about the nastiness, wicked and stink. That is why people like Ace Ali got to put he frightened his own shadow. That's why he want to mess around nobody like Frank Anthony and allow them for be your senior position, like for presidential candidate in your party, because he don't feel threatened and defeated. That's why you got to get people like we name. And I understand he put in the one Darren Lal too for become the but I want to know you Barajak that the longest rope got to end. The longest rope got to end. Is the nastiest politician that ever grazed this earth. And let me tell you, I know you're not okay because your mind dirty. Your mind dirty. But like I say, the cries that the people, the cries of the people them on you. The cries of the people and all of them with the people like Honest Wall, John, and then with the Indian and what's your name? Was been there for sad, they would claim to be holy. I tell you, y'all going to end up bad. Y'all going to end up bad. Seeing the wrongs, what going on in this country. Look what's going on to the Albanian brothers and sisters, them that time. Look what's going on to them. These people stand up here for night, they stand up lying, talking about what the court to do. And them kind of thing. Look what they're doing to them brothers and sisters. Look what they're doing to black people. And you in support us them. No matter we all don't like we still see y'all as we brothers and sisters. We still see y'all, we still call y'all as brother and sister. And we know that they are going to stand up and see all them things and don't even say a word. But every rope got the longest end. Every rope got the longest end. I would rejoice if I wake up in the morning and hear Barajak just dead in the street. Oh, he's so wicked and nasty and stink. The most wickedest thing got this country real in a mess. In a real mess. In a real mess. But let me tell you, Dr. Hines is continuing his fire, his brimstone and fire all the time, because when you command truth to power.
Hold it on, call.
That is why when you see you talk and Kadaki and anybody, you have to jump and keep on with a thing named press conference and orchestrate your press conference and tell people what for asking and them kind of thing, big stupid boardness and them. This way, them they got to get for sure it up. Well, I tell you, everybody know what's going on. Everybody know what's going on. It's all coming. It's all coming. You will continue carrying the fire. Then you lock me up. Christian Dickens, come out and shoot down and kill and see how much you are going to gain. Because you have killed enough. And we're still rising. We're still rising. And we are rising in no biased way. It's everybody we want for live and for earn and for be nice in this country. It's like nonsense, you know. And all them things, yeah, your mind so bad, you got young children coming up and your mind so nasty. And you go there and left all. Have a good night, brother.
Thank you.
Good night, big brother. You for beat and teach.
Thank you.
You for beat and teach. You can't teach it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Caller, thank you for waiting. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Yes, good evening. Yeah, that's okay, Dr. Hines. Let me say good evening to everyone listening to the program here in Guyana and around the world. First thing, let me say, I like to be on point, and sometimes people might see me as being blunt and so on, but I get to the point. When I will advise caller, these programs cost to be on air. So when you call into the program, get to your point, say what you have to say, and everybody will understand. I'm not trying to limit you to what you have to say, but we gotta be real. Huh? Anyhow, let me move on right quick. Dr. Hines, the struggle is real. It is real and severe. Dr. Hines, I met a mother on her way going to shop something for her kids for school opening on Monday. Do you know, she explained to me, I got to go on these children, the teacher at the school said they got to bring soap, they got to bring a fan, one got being paid, one got do this. I'm taken so aback and I felt so angry and disturbed. Imagine we live in this country, a wealthy country like this, and ordinary citizens of this country has to find soap and broom and paint. Next thing you know, you're going to buy the material for building school. I'm so angry and disturbed. And all of us, we just keep calling into these programs and we're not doing anything about it. Look, the other day there was supposed to be a Kedaki and everybody called us to a protest outside the TCOM in Kingston. And I'm monitoring these programs so much in myself, and I don't see those persons that be calling into this program out there. I didn't see nobody there. I saw Rhonda, I saw Kedaki, Emily, and some regulars. We've got to learn to put our shoulders together. There's the brother who calls about calling CARICOM. This is not CARICOM. Guyana is Guyana. Guyana is Guyana. This situation in Guyana will not change until you people decide to go out there and do something about it. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to break the law. The Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana gives you the right to protest. I said to you, Dr. Hines, before, and other brothers, that let's make it together. Let's come together. All the villages throughout Guyana. And I call it 2 weeks of massive protest right across Guyana. The only thing that the People's Progressive Party understand is real pressure. Talking, let me tell you something. No matter how we talk on these programs, they are monitoring. It don't give a damn. They don't care. It will not change them. It will not change them. Take my word for it. We can talk from now till next year. They will not move. The only thing they understand is real pressure. People are saying, but going out to the streets and police can shoot you down. So what? In all countries of the world, they had revolution. You understand what I'm saying? And I've lived a life now that the things that I'm seeing around me is that I die than living in this. So if I go out there and they shoot me down, well, then somebody must bury my corpse. And be real. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Hines.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much for coming through and letting us know how you feel. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to the Carls. Carl W, Carl T, Carl Wong, Carl Thomas. We have a lot of Carls here tonight. Kevin, good evening. Good evening, Cyril. Good evening, Lester. Good evening, Dexter. And the caller just now reminded me, please make your contributions to the WPA campaign fund, which we launched a week ago. There is the Cash App handle on the screen, the PayPal handle. Those of you who are in Guyana, you can get in touch with Brother Kedaki or the WPA office and make your contribution to that fund. So please contribute to the WPA Campaign Fund. Please contribute to Politics 101. Those of you who contribute, and I want to thank all of you who have already contributed to the WPA Campaign Fund, and those who have contributed and continue to contribute to Politics 101. So yes, we're talking about poverty tonight. Poverty, because if we beat poverty, we are going to beat this regime that is holding us down.
Crying, voices from the ghetto, crying. Oh, pity call, mama. Crying. Hear them pleading, Lord. Voices from the ghetto. Oh, yeah. Help us, Father. Oh. Social amenities, Lord, heaven knows. Opportunities, well, them always close. Can't get work once in white collar. So if you can't stretch your dollar, it's later for you crap or smoke your pipe. You're short or dead from gripe. Life does rape dignity and pride. Children's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle. Till you're 6 feet deep by 3 feet wide. Children should life keep on drifting. It's something they're smoking or sniffing. Or maybe they're trying to forget this life of mystery and regret. No one to come to the rescue except Capleton and Boujou. So their boom boxes they leg up to drum out voices from the ghetto. Crying, 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 crying.
Voices from the ghetto. The forgotten among us. You know, we talk about politics, we do our politics, and we often forget the real victims. Call a hold for me a minute. We forget the real victims. And that is why tonight I wanted us to talk about poverty. I want to talk about those people. Those people that singing Sandra is talking about, they read their boom boxes, they only ghetto, and they're smoking and sniffing something to forget the life of misery. And we politicians often talk about ourselves rather than talk about those people. We talk about elections, but we don't link elections to poverty. That is why when we win elections, we don't know what to do with the power that we have. Are we in this? My auntie always tell me, I work in Portuguese people kitchen so that you will not have to work in Portuguese people kitchen. She was clear about that. Very clear. She had a plan. Because she knew what life was in the ghetto. And she wanted us to break out of the ghetto. And that is why, having broken out of the ghetto through luck and opportunity, which others didn't have, people like myself have a duty to go back to the ghetto and open those gates. Open those gates. Caller, thank you for holding. You're on to Politics 101. Talk to us.
Yes, thank you very much for buzzing me in. This flat garden, I'm double dipping because I don't like to take. Don't take no listen to the man. The brother that just called and challenged me. If our Chief Justice said, well, go for the goose, go for the gander, If John Josu could call in CARICOM when there was no problem with no election, and CARICOM came, why we, our time, our turn now, cannot call CARICOM in and give them evidence to show what's going on, that they could make a saying, because black people is in poverty, my brother. If the Kodi man could do it, why black man can't do it? And Mr. David Hinds, I want you to explain to the brother what the role CARICOM is supposed to play. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And of course, yes, I mean, Flash Gordon, you're not asking CARICOM to come in to fight for us. You're saying CARICOM came in because they felt, the PPP felt they had a problem. So they brought CARICOM in to help them. And we are saying that to CARICOM, I think that's why I understand Flash Gordon is saying, CARICOM, you come in for the wrong thing. Come in and see how poor people live in. Come in and see what's happening to black people. Come in and see how the Shaka Takuma Ogunse, like if he was on the slave plantation, come in and see how our young boys are being shut down on the street. Come in and go into the ghettos, in our villages, in our towns. Come in and see the reality. Come in and see the reality. Call a hold for me a minute. Come in and see the reality. So yes, let's don't fight. Let's don't fight. Let's talk. Let's put our ideas on the table, and let's tell our politicians we got to deal with this ghettoization, economic ghettoization, political ghettoization, cultural ghettoization. You can't be the richest country in the world per capita, and people still living in the ghetto. If per capita, each person is worth $5,000 and they're only getting $500, it means the country owe them $400,000 and more. So we got to break down the walls of the ghetto. Brother Bob Marley called it the concrete jungle. We got to break it down. Call it, thanks for your patience. Go right ahead.
Doctor, I'm sorry to disturb you again, but to be honest, CARICOM does not have no interest in our country. They were there because they want the peace of our island. Maya came there to get all cut. Sarah Ann get she cut. Everybody interested in their cut. 23 years under the PPP government, what have black people get? There are poor Indians out there still suffering to this day. What did they get? Now we have one of the richest growing economy in the world, and we still suffering. Because it's the same thing that came back after 23 years, nothing changed. We have the same corrupt, even worse, and more vindictive because they're more upset because of what great I was trying to do in the 5 years you were here. Well, let me say 3.5. But they don't care about what's going on in our country. All they want to know is black will suffer, and they succeed. The first thing that John Joe said, we win back the island after declaring the victory. He did not win the election. He rigged it. And he's about to do a bigger rigging in 2025. I hope Mark is listening and wake up. I hope you could talk some sense into that man. So you have to take the fights. I hope the Guyanese people could get up off their ass and go out there and fight for the right. Because as it goes, it's going to be worse in the next 2 years.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, caller, for coming through again. And tonight we're talking, we're opening the lines. I hope we can do it as regularly as we can. And I'll try to be more regular, in terms of opening the line. We're going to take a couple more calls. Caller, you're on the... Go ahead, caller. Hello? Hello? I think something is wrong there. We'll ask that caller to call back. In the meantime, yes, please, those of you who have not yet made your contribution to our fund, whether it's the Politics 101 Fund or the WPA Campaign Fund, a couple of questions were asked earlier. One person asked, who's the leader of the WPA? We have never had a single leader in the WPA. We have always had co-leaders. And at present, our co-leaders are Dr. Clive Thomas and Dr. Rupert Roopnaraine, both of whom have taken a backseat, so to speak. And we have a members meeting coming up, and that members meeting is going to elect the new top leadership of the party. We hope to have that members meeting in within another month and a half to 2 months. And at that members meeting, we are going to deal with the question of new co-leadership in the party. We don't do one leader. At one point, we had 4 co-leaders. Currently, we have 2 co-leaders. And the party is going to make that decision at its members meeting. We don't have members congress. We call it a members meeting. And that's our equivalent to a congress. We're preparing for that. And we are going to report to the country once that process is over. So that is the answer. One of the callers made reference to the fact they hope we don't have infighting like the other parties. And I think that's a good advice for us. All parties would have differences. We are not a monolith. People will have different opinions. But we can report that we have vigorous debates in our party, but we have not reached the point of infighting. We have not reached the point of infighting, and we hope we don't get there. We hope we don't get there. I think this caller is really trying to get through. Let's hear what he or she has to say. Hello? Go right ahead. You're on Politics 101. Hello? Hello? There seems to be something wrong. This call is not getting through. Or he or she has a problem connecting. Bandwidth story. Yes. So there we are. We are going to continue to pound away at this question of poverty, because we think that it's a very important question. Go ahead, caller. You're on Politics 101.
Yes, Dr. I'm sorry to be calling, but because I know there's other people wanting to call, but some important news into hand. The Ghana government has written and requested to the U.S. government ahead of the conference that is to be held in September in Washington, D.C. with elected government official of the U.S. Administration. That's one. And let me say to Brother Gordon, Flash Gordon, that I'm not attacking you, brother. I see you as a brother in the struggle. But my point is this clearly. The time for talking is over. Do you know you're talking about bringing CARICOM here? Do you know CARICOM has us in what we are in today? Do you know that same woman that came here, that evil woman from Barbados, supposedly woman, owns 3 times the size of a land of Barbados in Maurice right now, as we speak? That is our payments to Barbados for putting Black people in Guyana where they are today. Thank you very much and have a nice evening, everyone.
Thank you. Let's not quarrel among ourselves. Yes, Brother Roy. Yes, Dr. Thomas and Dr. Rupnarayan have taken a back seat. They're now elders, and they are no longer running for those top positions. So the party will have to move and find new top leadership. But we'll work that out and let you know in due course. We have another caller. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello? Yes. Good night, Dr. Hines. A pleasant Friday evening to you. And we're talking about poverty tonight, but have you ever thought about this old poverty thing where it's like, it's real, but it's like, you just thinking it's a situation to me that is forced on the people, and I'm feeling that it's a deliberate act to not let the resources reach the people, to keep them at a level, maybe a lot of them below the poverty line, because some people slip from being a middle class, working class, whatever, to a new class where they can barely put a little food on the table. They're struggling every month. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. I guess some days no gas in the car, and they don't know where the next meal coming from. So I'm thinking that this old ghetto thing though is a situation where somebody might be living in a big fancy house, but then inside that nice house you're seeing out there, the ghetto situation exists right in there, because you know what? They can't afford certain things. They kind of under pressure. And at the same time, if we were to take a survey to see the number of people that move from being below the poverty line in poverty and is elevated now to another level. So it's a case where some are being elevated out of their situation and the others are being suppressed. And it's like a seesaw, something where you're bringing up some, you're pushing down some. So I'm saying that you said that time isn't normal. This is not normal times. And we need to look at this thing from every perspective and get up and fight, because you know what? We can say that maybe it's a deliberate act to keep certain people living under the poverty line, because if we get in so much oil, so much billions of dollars from the oil revenue, why is it that the public servants have to wait until December month and you're going to push something on them? What happened to them from January? You're not thinking how these people existed from January to November. Why can't you give it to them as early in the year so they can better manage, better plan, and better do certain things with the little resources that they're being given? So we need to maybe think that maybe it's a deliberate something to have some people living high on the backs of others, and the other set living like, hand to mouth. So that's my little contribution. And yes, I remember the contribution thing, and I would make my contribution. God bless you, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, and
thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. And you raise a very important point, because when a country begins to change in the way that Guyana is changing, then the whole class structure begins to change. What used to be working class is no longer working class. What used to be middle class is no longer middle class. And so the sister there is raising a very, very, very complex question, which those of us who think through these things will have to take into consideration. We know the physical ghetto, we can see them, but there are ghettos, as she's arguing, even in big houses. Somebody may love, you go in a so-called big house, 2-3 bedroom, and you find 10, 12 people live in 3 bedroom, and they'll catch in hell. The house big, How Bob Marley used to put it, he said, the pot a boil, but the food not enough. That's what I was looking for. The pot a boil, but the food not enough. You know, the rain a fall, but the dirty tough. All right, that's what I was looking for. And so the sisters raise a very important point, that is why poverty rate is almost 50%. And people are asking, I'm not seeing it. Because it's not easy to see the poverty. Thank you very much. I have somebody to thank. I think, let me see here, Natalie. Natalie, thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much. It's good to be able to thank you in real time. In real time, those who have sent in their contribution, thank you. Thank you too. And thank Natalie for making our contribution tonight. And to those of you who are intending to do so, we encourage you. So I think we have had a good introduction to this discussion tonight on poverty. I see Denise, champagne. I love Guyanese West Indian people. You all are so creative. Denise Champagne Collison. Denise is a regular. Denise, thank you so very much for all of the support that you have given us. And I now know that you're champagne. My belly full, but me still hungry. Yes, Brother Bob Marley, the food, the pot a boil, but the food not enough. The rain a fall, but the dirty tough. You know, I want to thank you all. Those of you who are in New York, this is Labor Day weekend. Oh my God, I haven't been to a Labor Day, weekend in ages. I have to correct that. I want to wish all of you down there in Brooklyn and the Bronx and Queens and New Jersey, happy Labor Day, and go out and have fun, we have to have fun if much we struggle. Be safe out there, be safe, and enjoy a Labor Day weekend. Those of you who are not in New York and in other places, enjoying your little cookout and so on and so forth, please do so. Take a little tux for me, and for those of us who are not there. But we're going to keep the struggle going on. We are going to be here on Monday night. On the weekend, we're going to do some rebroadcasting. We may stitch in a live on the weekend, but we'll see about that. I want to again thank all of you who have made contributions to this program, made contributions to the WPA, made contributions to the Guyanese Morning Time. I want to thank you all profusely. Oh, Desiree, I know. Desiree, thank you for your contribution. It came through. Thanks for your contribution. Desiree is what we call an original. Thank you all so much for keeping us alive. And it's Friday night. Say hello to, I understand he's in the United States, Mr. Duncan, and he's having a ball. Say hello to him for me. Those of you who are going over to him, and then Mark comes on later on tonight. Say hello for me. So, again, love is our watchword. Love you all so much, and we continue to do this together. To all those of you who have called in tonight, big yourself up. All of us are in this thing together because all of us are consumed.